Wide. Who's there for the Eagles? Nobody. Didak is there for the Maggies. He unleashes with an enormous kick up forward. Smith uses his body on Hall. And it hits the behind post. Yes, it has. It will be thrown in.
Again, we're talking about quality, good young players. The young Didak then 2 steps left foot, natural left footer, of course. But
Is he ready for the AFL, Michael?
I mean, how old is he, David? He's
17.
17. I mean, it's a big call to say a 17-year-old's ready for the AFL, but he is going to be ready at some stage.
I think he'll be an early take too. Smith was clever. McGuinness around the corner. That was just very clever. He's so quick, isn't he? Hand to foot, McGuinness. He created something out of completely nothing.
At one end, we talk about Cluzak, the ability to convert off that long run from a set shot. This bloke that's just kicked the goal, McGuinness, is an absolute freak. I just get the cold tingles up the back of my neck when he snaps the ball. Just how many times he can go that snap and go through the middle, it just amazes me.
Well, back to 19 points this game. Magpies just staying in there. Ashley on Colville now. We've got Beveridge just sitting waiting for Chalmers' hands to come forward. Back was Brown by himself. A quick little kick around the body here by Brown. It's gone to Didak. Didak, right leg. Heads it towards Brosnan and also Phillippo. Back there again was Tate. Good handball inside by Dutchy Holland to McCarthy. McCarthy to Hall. Hall, well, the kicks are pretty untidy. It couldn't be marked there by Didak, and again we see another throw in on the outer side.
Chalmers into the ruck has helped Port Adelaide over the last 5 or so minutes.
Chalmers and McGregor. It was McGregor who thumped it down the throat of Pesh. 2-on-1. The contest was not fair. And Pesh unable to get clear. 26 minutes gone, almost half-time at Alberton Oval. 48 plays 29, a 19-point ball game in favour of the Eagles. And Port Adelaide really need this last foray into their forward line. As Carr goes deep into the pocket, McCarthy and Binky. Binky one-handed mark. That's a beauty. And it's paid by the umpire.
They're the ones you like to see stick. Let's just have a look at that again. It's just good skill, isn't it? And good strength too from Binky. Just held off John McCarthy, put the mid out, had the super glue on it, and it stuck. And this kick will test him.
This kick won this term. Brian Binky well held in the first quarter by McCarthy. He gets away deep into the pocket with a great mark and just misses.
It was a good kick though, wasn't it? Just punched it into the breeze. He is a good player. Very warmly welcomed back to the Port Adelaide Magpies after his AFL stint. And our statistician in Ian Mogridge is saying that Brian Binky has had more possessions for Port than anybody else, so he would be pleased with that.
Ball comes grandstand side, just over the head of Dutchy Holland. He goes without it really. Straightens up and comes back into Pesh. They Pesh doesn't waste the football too often. I don't know what Andrew Rogers is doing up there, but he'll fly at this. Didak was at the back. Handball comes over to the top to Ashley. Ashley should go out wide to the captain and Brown. He does that. This could be a bit too long for Brown. It is. So again, Magpies don't too often go indirect with their play, but we've seen in this quarter a couple of times just searching for a player out wide.
I think that's a result of the effort that the Eagles players have put in to run back and fill up that hole right in front of the goals, because they're recognising Smith is such a danger.
Oh. Gee, the boot was in there again by Carter.
But again, we don't want to see softies.
No, but you still got to protect the play.
Well, Colville was down, and I reckon it was Carr who came and just tried to toe poke it forward.
I think he pulled out of that one. There was nothing malicious.
No, just a little toe poke, and the umpire saw it for what it was. McGregor, who's getting on top in the ruck now, by the way. Waite started on the interchange bench and came on when Floriani was starting to dominate for the Eagles. And there's Scotty Hahn, who has been reported in this match. Good crowd at Alberton Oval, as there usually is. And they're used to seeing their side win, but they've got a fight on their hands today. McGregor from behind couldn't get it down. Phillippo won the tap and it brought it forward. Brown just handballs it into space. Hahn, clever kick and a quick one forward. Smith held his footing, goes back after it, and so well done. Jamie Tape rushes the behind.
I'd love to have a look at the physical contest in the square. There could have been just a little bit of... didn't quite see it. And Smith you could see his eyes light up from the back of his head, couldn't you?
Tape took it off his boot virtually.
This bloke's a good fullback too, David. Makes good decisions, good defensive skills. He's big enough and quick enough to fill the role for a lot of years, one would think.
And mean enough.
Well, 30-minute mark of the second quarter. Going up early there was McCarthy. Couldn't take it. Tapes in and he ducked the chuck and gets the free kick. Lucky there, Beveridge. There's a bit of a pirouette on the half-back flank. The kick's not good. This will find Carter. Goes over the top of Carter's head. Now Rogers is running down again. He just needs to knead the ball forward. Mad Dog Morgan comes out first. He'll be confronted there by Rogers. Gives the ball across to McGuinness. McGuinness sets it up beautifully to Binky. Binky to Carr. Carr over the top to Carter. Carter from 48. Just pops it up high. Again Smith. And Hall. Smith is too strong. Hall's laying on the ground. We hear the half-time siren here. And that takes the margin, Michael, to 11 points.
Yeah, that's the second time in a row that the Eagles team have tried to cross the ball. They've crossed it to a contest, and it's resulted in a turnover to Port Adelaide. And Port Adelaide would have been very, very pleased to see that scoreboard just roll over one more goal. Brings them back within a reasonable margin at half-time in what, Mark, has been a pretty close physical game. And I'm looking forward to the second half.
Half-time score indicates the Magpies, they're 5-7-37. The Eagles on 7-6-48. And you're watching this game exclusively to ABC Sport.
We hope you're enjoying our live coverage of SANFL footy from Alberton Oval. It's Port Adelaide and the Eagles. The Eagles, after trailing by 2 points at quarter time, led by 11 points at half time. And I think you'll agree it's going to be an entertaining second half as Mark Nayley rejoins us. Mark, I enjoyed what I saw in the first half. Both sides really were playing good attacking footy.
Yeah, it's really the calm before the storm, David. I reckon that first half was really a battle of the two defences. I mean, both defences working very hard with Archie and also Carter and Carr for the Magpies, but across the back line for the Eagle players, you've got Tate. You also had Andrew Rogers running very, very hard, and also Shirley back there, and Hall with a great duel with Smith up forward.
I wonder how many of our tipsters on our SANFL footy tipping tipped the Eagles today, but this is last week's result. Is it Peter Feige? Got sick. Darren Starkey, Ashley Sykes, Peter Williamson, Coralie, Catherine Price, Ben Reynolds, Basil, Colin O'Donnell and Michael Safaralides were the top 10 from last week. And there's the overall top 10. Now, Mark, have a look at that. Only 5 in the top 10 are from South Australia.
Yes, it does surprise me, but it's good to see other states involved in this contest, and we see Queensland up there with T. Kirkham on 34 points. So he's not very far behind is our first South Australian, D. Starkey, on 33.
Michael Parsons has been sitting down on the boundary line talking to a few people, but he would be very interested in the website. It's local.abc.net.au/SA footy. Now, I know Michael is the guru of computers. Michael, I guess you're having a go. I've been looking for your name on the computer. I haven't seen you amongst the top 10.
I'm waiting for Peter Costello to loosen those purse strings and let the ABC buy me one of those little palm top things so I can do my emails from anywhere.
Might be a target for a bomb. Oh, and check with these stores, see if we can get a description of this guy.
The web, it's eluding me right now, David.
It's not that he can't afford it, he's a zillionaire, you know. Taking the package, and there we go to the half-time.
It's very close there, but we just see the goal kickers up to half-time. The Magpies, we see McGuinness has 2. Smith has 2. McGuinness, Binky and Brosnan have 1 apiece. Clusack has 4. Pesh and Dylan and Matthew Clusack, his brother, have 1 apiece.
Now, Mark, we were looking at the stats, and we looked at them earlier. Other than the Eagles finding a fair bit of the ball in terms of handballs and marks, Port Adelaide really have matched them in most departments.
Yeah, really just the frees have been the main difference, and also the handballs and the marks. Well, 10 more marks, and you're roughly looking at 21 more handballs. Seems to be the difference.
So the umpires are out, ready to start the second half at Alberton Oval. Your commentator is Mark Nayley.
Start the second half between the Magpies and the Eagles. It's a good bounce dance. Benargle gets the first tap down. White picks it up beautifully off ground level, then goes to the ground. Coming through hard is McCarthy. Quick handball forward to Colville. Colville has a running player out wide. He does that well to Neiman. Neiman just chips it up. Northeast nearly takes a mark going to ground. Matty Clusack over the top, just nudges it out to Chris Clusack. Can he kick his 5th? I don't think he has. And goes across the face of goals for a first behind. The first score in the second half. Sees now the Eagles move on to 7-7, the 49. Just go now out to a 12-point margin.
And what about the wind, Michael? You've been down at ground level. What wind is there to contend with?
I think the windsock tells the story, David. It is a perfect day for football down there now. A few showers this morning, but now the sun's out and that wind has dropped right away.
Archie playing at fullback has the job on Chris Kluzak. Michael Spinagle claims the mark, but the umpire called play on, said it was touched. Cicolella comes back inboard, releases Pesh on the left boot. He turns it around the corner, straightens up and heads towards the goal. Morgan right on the line, just got the fist to it. And a point the result for the Eagles.
The Eagles attacking again, David. It's a good sign for them, I think. They just dropped the intensity just before half-time. But if they can get a couple of goals on the board, put that scoreboard pressure back on Port Adelaide, they'd have to grow their confidence.
Now, Mark, that's 1 goal, 3 to Pesh.
Yes, he could have really done some damage up forward there. It comes back down again. A little quick kick forward, goes through to Matty Kluzak. He takes a good mark. Another chance for the Eagles to bring up another score. They're 2 behind so far in this quarter. Good setup there again for the Eagles. Kluzak, 1 goal, 1 behind so far in this game. His brother has 4 goals, 1. And the distance won't be a problem. He'll kick from about 45, maybe just inside of that. He's dead in front. With Siddle, it's a terrible kick off the boot. Only goes as far as Archie. He does that very well. Mad Dog Morgan can't pick it up. A little knock on favours Carr for the Maggies. Carr just gets through 2 or 3 players, then goes wide with the kick. Now, who's out there? Looks like Floriani. Just covers that ground very quickly. Can go back to Rogers, comes inside and Neem, the big fella, get the handball on. He does that to Colville. Colville comes up with a high kick. Where's Matthew Kluzak again? He's in the front of the pack. No, he's in the back of the pack, and he takes it off the top. Will he give the handball? I don't think so. Goes alone and brings up his 2nd goal by Matthew Kluzak. And that's the Eagles' 8th.
Very disappointing from Michael Spinagle, I think is the correct pronunciation now, after we were very much corrected by his girlfriend, who made her way to the box to correct the pronunciation.
And she goes all right too, I can tell you.
Oh, I pity the people who are going to call her mum a little bit later on, but over the back from Michael Spinagle, just a real key defensive error to let the ball go over the back in that defensive 50, and we saw what happened. Just fell to the free Christopher Kluzak, and he got the easiest of goals.
8 to 5-7. Gee, at the risk of sounding like a dirty old man, which I guess I am, she goes all right. Colville, Floriani, playing by Carr. Colville, quick hands and clever work. The Eagles are just building up, they, from defence, and they're running and attacking, and Pesh just miskicked that one. The concept was right, but Carter just drifted to the front, and Kluzak was chopped off. Now it's Waite at half-back. Over the top he goes. Port Adelaide's 3rd quarter has been their glory quarter this season. They've been pretty good the last 4 weeks in the 3rd term. McGuinness into space, running onto it. Clayton, claimed by Cicolella, thrown away in the tackle. The kick came out. Rogers, claimed by Brown. It's good, strong work. Binky dispatches it into space. It's a running contest. Smith is forward, and he's got it, the big man. So Philip Smith, the big man mountain from Whyalla, who's kicked 2 in the first half and has 32 goals for the year, lines up for goal number 3.
We've seen this bloke enough this year to know that that's where he's best. On the lead, ball up high, gives him a run at the ball. He's just got great hands, just can stop the hard kick ball in its tracks, and he's a pretty good kick as well.
2 goals, 1 already in this match. Averages just on 4 a game, and he is a beautiful technician. That one, perhaps they could get him teaching the Port Power boys how to kick it from full forward, and they might look to him next year to fill the hole for them as well. Not a bad thought, is it? He does it pretty well.
No, he does. He's set himself the goal of kicking 4 a game. He missed his 4 last week, but you would think with 3 already he's going to get it this week. But that was a better forward structure as well from Port Adelaide. Phil Smith back in the goal square, had plenty of paddock to lead into. Nobody running across the top of him. Just allowed him to use his speed, get out in front of Stephen Hall and take a good mark.
Ball down once again. Neiman, Spinagle, good tap to Brown. We saw it happen last week. It's occurring again. Dutchy Holland goes wide. Needs now to get rid of the football. Sees a player running hard. It's Colville. He'll take it. Gets back quickly. He's got either Gallagher or McCarthy to kick to. He goes to McCarthy, the second option. He'll give the handball inside. He does that well. He needs to run a bit harder now, David Gallagher. Set something up here.
Look at the Port players back there.
They're back there hard. Spinagle's back there. Taken off the football without it. And he should receive the free kick. He does. So 13-point margin to the Eagles. Comes up. Good use by their Beveridge. Just knocks the ball towards the boundary line. The kick was set up there for North East. Beveridge just making a yard.
Yep. There's the Port Adelaide bench, Michael.
See Burgoyne sitting there.
Didak and Brosnan.
Didak and Brosnan, who had a very quiet first half.
Dead heat in the ruck contest. Manfield around the corner for the Eagles. Into space, but running underneath it, Fegan, who's played pretty well so far for Port Adelaide. Look at the handball, a clearing one to Archie. The runner was McGuinness. Releasing the ball into space. Kaji looked like he was running up and down on the spot at one stage. Now he just lopes it out. Delivers it long and hard towards the half-forward line. Chalmers and Tape. It's a terrific matchup physically, and Tape's had the better of the contest so far. Chalmers tries to paddle it forward. Shirley flicked it forward. Good contest.
Held without it.
Mark Daly, go for your whistle.
No, he held without it. Did all the hard stuff, Tape. That second, third effort, Michael, was good. And just the players just held on to him for a little bit too long.
That's a good call from David too. It's been a great matchup, Tape on Chalmers. Chalmers is just one of the premier players in this league. And Jamie Tape has just done exceptionally well on him, keeping him to 3 possessions to this point in time.
Darzanos, Higgins and Pearce on the bench for the Eagles.
Well, we just saw Tape up to half-time. Him and Beveridge both had 14 for the Eagles, where Binky for the Magpies also had 14, so possessions down a little bit this week. Comes up. Floriani just concedes the ball going out over the line.
Paul Hamill holding Darzanos on the bench, fellas. Fresh legs for the final quarter.
Yeah, you will be surprised if he doesn't come out just before that. The midfield has been good. They've worked very, very hard as Pesh and also Colville and Pearce. But maybe Michael Darzanos on the wing, maybe in the middle, maybe up forward.
It's when you sit there at half time and go through, put a mark next to those players you think are going well for the Eagles. Just about their entire midfield has got a mark next to it, so there hasn't really been a space for Paul Hamilton to allow him to bring Darzanos on. As we see a very good mark there from Nigel Fegan. That's courage, just running back with the flight of the ball. That's fantastic courage. It did not flinch an inch.
Well, he got it too. His hands are on his head.
McGuinness, Spinagle, quick hands Brown. Look at the pressure that exists out there. Shirley got Brown. Now Spinagle at ground level. He's doing everything, the big fella. Ashley was dragged off the contest. Hahn, who was reported in the first half, gets out the handball to Carr. In turn, over the top it goes to Steed. He's dangerous at this stage, and he goes long to goal, and he's kicked it. That's a team lifter. That's where Port Adelaide are dangerous. And sometimes you just look to Steed for that spark, and he's provided it there.
Yeah, I like watching Alfie Steed play football. He's at it. His skills are reasonably good. It was disappointing what last year when he got that nasty knee injury, sat out just about the whole year, but he really does go pretty hard. But it was just also just Port Adelaide at the ball, the pressure to keep it going forward, and ended up in that nice goal for Alfie Steed.
7-7, 49, 8-8, 56. 7-point ball game. The 9.5-minute mark of this third quarter. It's the halfway mark of the season. And the Magpies, well, they're on top of the table after beating Central's last week. The kick's going to go to Binky. Great work there by McCarthy to get a fist on that football, coming in low and hard and fast.
Brian Binky just saw the ball coming. He stopped, turned around, said, "Here it is, it's mine." And John McCarthy just made the lunge. Great defensive effort and knocked it out. I think Brian Binky's still smiling about it.
Alfie Steed providing the spark again, and it almost worked for Port Adelaide. Did anyone write them off at half-time, by the way? We should have taken the consensus. Holland ducked the chutney. The umpire didn't fall for it. The skipper goes over the top of it, Rogers, and the pack envelops him. We're 10.5 minutes into the third term. 7-7 to 8 goals, 8. A 7-point ball game. And at one stage, the Eagles were 25 points ahead, so Port Adelaide have reeled them back pretty well. Chalmers thumps it down. Where's the dangerous Steed? He's on top of Sicolella. Sicolella did it pretty well. He just seems to have so much time, doesn't he? Rogers back to Colville was good play, and Colville releases a high ball. Beveridge and Brown strength. Beveridge was stronger and held out, but Brown followed up pretty well. Colville chopped him off at the knees. Play on, said the umpire. Rogers releases the speedster in Holland. Watch him go. Gets a good shepherd from Kluzak. Comes inboard. Spanigal was no obstacle. Kicking 6 bounces, 7 bounces. Phil Manasseh in the grand final. No, it's not, but he delivers it to Kluzak, who dropped it. Needs support. There's Holland. He's inside 50. This will be the goal of the year if he kicks it, but he delivers it deep into the pocket where Manfield marks. And we'll go back and reassess the options.
Not happy with Dutchy Holland at all. Let us shout and yell, kick the goal.
Now look at this, look at this.
But got to go back before that. Colville, the tackle on Brown on this half-forward line, then had the press to be able to get the football. Second effort, when I'm just a great believer in second and third efforts, fourth efforts and fifth efforts, but his second effort was just so good. Got the handball inside to Holland. That's what really created that play.
Matthew Kluzak's kick 2, he's going for 3. Little bit of the breathing space. Well, they're going to take it right up to the Magpies on their home ground, aren't they, as Kluzak gets his third. The Eagles are 9-8. Port Adelaide are 7-7 on the ABC scoreboard.
Yes, Mark Daly, you're 100% right. It was the effort of Gavin Colville. Then a great run from Dutchy Holland. Tongue-in-cheek, I said he should have kicked the goal. He did the team thing, looked for the right options, and created the goal just by sharing it around.
Matthew Kluzak, 3 goals, 1 behind. Really spent a bit of time last year between the reserves and also seniors. A few injuries as well. But this year really has, along with his brother at full forward, a pretty lethal combination. Good knock by Neiman. Good tackle again by Colville. Ciccarella's over the top. He's taken high. The umpire calls play on. Julian Waite comes into Brown. Brown sets up Steed. Good work again by Shirley. Puts his body over the top of the football. The whistle went to the mouth of the man in white. And Shirley, yes, he's just getting a nod from his teammates there. A great effort. As we're nearly 13 minutes into this third quarter, 62 plays 49. Ball down again. We'll watch for Neiman. Spinagle's there. Good work again by Neiman. It's only gone as far as Ashley. Oh, well done by Floriani. Just pushed the Ashley under the football. Gives Colville a chance to set it up again. Bit of pushing and shoving. Coming across should be Fegan. Oh, great use of the body by Christopher Kluzak. Snaps it around his body. It's a high ball. Going back as Archie. Great courage shown. Comes back now, Dillon. He just set it up to Colville. Colville just needs to snap it back to the top of the square. He does it. Up there is Ciccarella. Christopher Kluzak goes for the fly. Coming down at ground level is Gallagher. Gallagher should be confronted by Burgoyne. He is. Gives it back again to Floriani. Floriani from 45 just props it up again. They're trying to find something here, the Eagles. Oh, hit down hard there, Fegan on Kluzak. But they somehow end up the football with McCartney. Sends in a big bomb. He's got the distance, hasn't got the accuracy. Oh, that was tough football.
It was tough football. Ended up with a pretty poor decision though from Julian Waite. Yes, there was a lot of pressure, but I think there was not as much pressure to... It was just a poor handball. Came straight out to John McCarthy, I think it was. You watch it. Here it comes. Just released it when he shouldn't have, and it set up a chance on goal for the Eagles. But just good defensive pressure from the Port Adelaide defence.
Archie drops it short. Not the normal way they go about it, Port Adelaide. Carr looks for the third option. It's Julian Waite out wide. Manfield with him, just spoiled it, brings the ball to ground. Dillon comes inboard, crashes through the tackle, delivers it forward, and Kluzak's marked on 50. He's kicked 3 and 2 this term. Matthew Kluzak delivers it wide. And underneath this one, McGregor stood his ground pretty well under pressure from Fegan and will kick for goal from 40 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, it was a good mark in the end. Nigel Fegan did everything possible within the rules to stop him catching that one. But he stood his ground. As we see, Julian Waite,
you've called it,
bench for possibly the decision we were talking about previously.
Well, the rule is, isn't it, to hold it until you can find an option.
Particularly in your forward 50, you just can't afford just to throw it out anywhere.
So Ken McGregor on the Crows list. Hasn't got one so far today, and he averages just under a goal a game for his career of 15 games. He's put it through. Well, that's made it very interesting for Port Adelaide because the Eagles are wrestling the initiative right away from the Magpies.
It'd be interesting to see what their entries into the 50 were this quarter, but they really have had control of the ball. But just that forward structure that Paul Hamilton has, he has 2 players right back in the goal square, previously we've seen these guys play, they enter it down the wings and then bring it across into the centre of the game, into the centre in front of the square. Today we haven't seen it as much, but then when the ball was just free in play, then we saw it a couple of times snapped over the shoulders. The Eagles players, instead of going to goal, went to that hot spot, and they're starting to get the score on the board.
Oh, Spanagel comes hard this time, tries to thump it forward. The bounce will favour the Eagles through Floriani. Not much of him, but he is a very clever player. Gallagher over the top of that ball. Ashley sits on top. Well, this game we've got a 20-point margin. I know some pretty close scores also with the other games being played this afternoon. As I'm led to believe, I think it was Sturt 14 points up over Centrals, then South over North by 21 points, and West over North. So a couple of little upsets this afternoon. They're up by 3.
It's a long way to go in those games, Mark, because Colville turns it around the corner. Chris Kluzak just ran underneath that one, allows a little bit of space. Dylan went, but he went without the ball. Morgan crashes through. McGuinness was clever, wasn't it? And Clayton. Burgoyne, one step, turns around the corner, just not enough. No support, he needed it and didn't get any. Gallagher goes long towards the point of the square. One-on-one contest. Archie came in from the side, almost got through Floriani. Off the ground went McGregor. Northeast smothered it. Morgan dives on top of it. Carter goes crashing in with it. And he's, oh, that's a goal. That is a goal that is unbelievable.
Who is it?
Right through the middle. I reckon it might have been McGregor, was it?
No, I reckon it's Matthew Kluzak.
Matthew Kluzak.
I'm just waiting.
It was just a flurry of players. Either way, it's an Eagles goal, and we'll need the replay really to...
No, it's Matthew Kluzak. Yes,
it was.
7.
Little soccer goal straight off the ground, so he's kicked his 4th.
And 3 this quarter.
3 this term. He matches his brother. They've both got 4, Chris and Matthew Kluzak.
Just like the gridiron, wasn't it? Just a snap, set it up, and I'll punt it off the ground. Just glad when those ones roll around. Hard enough to get a goal at the best of times, and when one just pops up for you like that, say, thank God, give me another one.
26-point margin. Spanigal again goes hard at it, just knocks the ball over the top. Chalmers been very quiet this afternoon. Carr comes up with a footy. A chance for the Maggies to go forward. Well read at the back there by Shirley. Just sat down, runs his full distance. It was Dutchy Holland, was it? A couple of long sleeve jumpers out there. Upsets me. Ciccarella, well, he's picked out Carter here. He should take this uncontested, and he does. Well, Gavin Colville really is on fire, fellas. Ian Moldridge, I think, just informed us that he's had 11 possessions so far in this quarter, and up to half-time. Wasn't really mentioned there, was he? We might get his full stats in a moment.
This fella's been pretty good too today, Tape. Colville's had 12 and 7, Mark.
He's had 11 possessions in this quarter.
Yes. Well, Tarzanos, well, we talked about him, fresh legs on the bench. He's come on. 4A forward, Ciccarella claimed by Clayton. He is tough, mean and hard. Like the way he plays the game. Not much of him, but he plays it hard. Spinagle comes off. And Brosnan comes on. 18 and a half, almost 19 minutes gone, 3rd term.
Chalmers into the ruck, but you're right about Mark Clayton. He really has played some good football this year. He's hard and tough, and he's got good skills.
Stupid decision. Stupid decision. Keep a cool head. It was a stupid decision. Don't even replay it. Not even worth it. Ball's out wide. Binky just sets it up now. Comes down the line. Carter's wandered up there. With him is Filippo. Tape stays down. The general comes through. Kicks the ball up. Burgoyne should take this. He does. Going back with the flight of the ball. Gives it off quickly to Fegert. Fegert's got Carter now on a half-forward flank. Straightens up the kick. Heads towards Filippo again. One-on-one duel there with Rogers was good. Comes loose to Didak. Didak has time now. Left leg. Thumps it back in. Going to the back of Smith. Which way will it bounce? It bounces true. It goes through the behind. So 50 plays 75. 25-point margin to the Eagles. Is the game all over yet, fellas?
That's one of the few times that Port Adelaide have got through that half-back line of the Eagles, really, hasn't it? Jamie Tape's been fantastic. Mark, I know you're a bit of a chemist. You know what a rubber stopper is? And he could be the man for the name.
Gallagher. He's taken on Burgoyne, and he's got out of it.
Neiman's by himself.
Smith goes after Hall. You're right about Neiman. 50 metres clear of any opponent. McGuinness comes in. The handball's forward to Manfield. He's drifted down from the forward line. He's having a run in ruck, I suspect. Now Tape, isn't he playing well? Great game for the Eagles. Delivers it towards half forward. Archie was very good. Just jostled Kluzak out of the contest. Northeast thrown away without the ball. Out, and the free kick's there. Matthew Kluzak didn't like it. The Eagles are getting rattled, by the way. They're worrying about the umpire rather than what's going on out there. 2 occasions, they've shown some lack of discipline, which we haven't seen them question a decision this year.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of decisions to question this year. Well, I think they are probably within their rights to question those, but it's now just a matter of focusing the mind back on it. That phase of the game has gone.
Look, that one was a free, no question.
Well, they can't argue. The Eagles have had double the amount of frees to what the Magpies have had. Another couple of there that in the last 5 minutes, a little bit controversial. Binky, that's a stupid kick. You wouldn't want to see that one again. Colville comes down for his 12th possession, throws the ball towards the boundary line. Umpire was right on a good tackle from behind by Didak. But Colville going to ground just did enough. We heard their half-time score. You see South by 22s. They're added to their half-time score. West by 10 points. That really is a turn-up over Norwood. They go forward again. Ciccarella just punts the ball up again. Matthew Kluzak having a good quarter. Inside number 14 is Spiro Danzanos. What can he do now from 40 metres out? Directly in front. A great kick. 31-point margin. Spiro Danzanos come on. And he's kicked his first goal for the day.
Yeah, again, pretty good coaching from Paul Hamilton. Kept Darzanos on the bench all the first half. He's unleashed him once everybody else has got a bit of lactates in the leg. And he really is providing some space and spark. He's a good player. And his skills there to finish were fantastic. But it was all started from Justin Ciccarella on the half-back line. Just took the ball, take and break, a coach of mine used to say. Take the ball and be running flat out and straight away. Justin Ciccarella did that, created the space, which ended up in the Darzanos goal.
12-9 to 7 goals 8. The Eagles have some breathing space. Can they defend it in the final term? Ciccarella evades 2 tackles, gets it back to Manfield in turn. Gallagher, they're combining pretty well in the midfield, the Eagles, and they're doing a pretty good job of it so far. Darzanos picks it up, delivers it forward. Chris Kluzak at the back, but at the front, but at the back it's Dillon, and Dillon marks about 15 metres out, and well, I think the fat lady's warming up, Michael.
Yeah, again, it was Ciccarella with just those great skills, you know, just the hand skills and the evasive skills, and also the decision-making skills to get the ball out of that scrimmage in the middle. And Darzanos again running around, got lots of energy, been sitting on the bench. And Jason Dillon said thank you very much when the ball came over the back.
He kicked one in the second term. Former Port Adelaide player. I think he had 13 games at Alberton. Played in a couple of reserves premierships. I read a great article by Dougie Robertson this morning in the Advertiser. Great insight into Dillon, who thought he had league football in him. He certainly has. He's made a great fist of it with the Eagles.
Well, we just wait now for the ball to return. Archie just trying to slow things down. And really, the Magpies have been bombarded by a very committed Eagles team in this third quarter.
Change of tactics, Mark, for the Eagles. They're going to the zone this time. Port Adelaide muster in the middle and break to the left-hand side.
Looping left leg over the top, a big thump back by Manfield. The Eagles again. Good shepherd by Matthew Kluzak. What will happen? He dodges and weaves. Will he get around northeast? He does that. Justin Ciccarella, little left check side. Didn't go far enough. Archie taken without the football. Tries to break through the pack. Well, the umpire again is letting it go. That would look like Christopher Kluzak comes up with a quick little snap. Try to guide it through the big sticks. Couldn't quite get there. So another behind to Christopher Kluzak. 12-11-83. A 33-point margin over the Magpies.
Yeah, Justin Ciccarella just ran out of space there. We've seen and we've commented so many times about the Eagles as they come down the boundary line. They just cross it to that hot spot 10, 15 metres out in front of the square. Probably would have been his better option there rather than just try to run it too far into that dead pocket.
Confidence, I think, is a factor for Port Adelaide. They're playing very short from the full-back line. Morgan's got that ball just inside the point post. It only just went the required 10 metres. Chalmers couldn't get there. Neiman thumps it down. Hahn, who was electric in the first half, quiet in this third term, picks up the loose ball underneath this one. Didak, he works pretty hard. There's a lot to like about this 17-year-old who went to Ireland with the Australian under 18 Gaelic footy team and is emerging as a real prospect in the draft. Manuel was Ashley and Filippo, former Eagle player, left after a spat with Mark Micken just a couple of years ago. Binky thumps it down, loose ball falls
Port Adelaide turn it around the corner. Smith couldn't quite take it. Holland, hasn't he been good? Grabs the ball and explodes from full-back, sends a real message to his teammates about intensity. Doubles back, switches the play, and opens it up for Tape, who looks for the second option. Comes back inboard, another switch in play. So they're playing Port Adelaide at their own game. A double switch to Gallagher. Over the top, and in turn Pearce, who spent some time on the bench during the second quarter and had an ankle restrap. We're not entirely convinced he's fully fit. But a best and fairest winner for the club, I guess, when he is fully fit, would be one of the first picked. The kick was good. Colville, who's played a blinder today, he's just serviceable and finding plenty of the ball. The skipper in Rogers. Short, sharp and shiny. Chris Kluzak, that's a training drill. 4 goals too to Chris Kluzak as he lines up for goal number 5, Michael.
Yes, I'd just like to go back to the crisscrossing in the back of the ground. We saw Dutchie Holland, one of the quickest players on the ground, get the ball at a flat run, had to turn and go back the other way because Phil Smith just was quicker than him. Phil Smith is a big man. It just shows how quick he is over the ground. He is a prospect.
He is a prospect. If nobody else takes him before Port Adelaide, I think Port Adelaide will get one of the first choices next year if they're going to finish on the bottom. I reckon the big key full forward will be probably their first priority, and Phil Smith would probably fit that bill. And the kick from Kluzak's offline, so he's kicked 4 goals, 3. And along with his brother, who's also kicked 4, and Matthew Kluzak, they've both got 4. They're doing the damage up forward for the Eagles.
Phil Smith, you'd just like to see him pull a game right apart one day, kick 10 a couple of weeks in a row, just to get his confidence way up there. Maybe take a couple more grabs in the pack. That's really all that he misses at this stage. He's got good kicking skills, he's big, he's strong, and he just showed then how quick he is over the ground.
Corey Archie, the kick wasn't good. Manfield nearly took it. Ashley's over the top of the ball, coming through hard, head down as the Iceman. Gets the handball out over the top. Again, Floriani's had a good afternoon as Floriani just props up. There's Eagles players everywhere. The handball goes over the top. Dillon should run into an open goal here, and he does. That's his second to Jason Dillon. And the Eagles, fellas, well, we're not going to say it. We're not going to say it, are we? But gee, I tell you, 40 points, it's a long way to come back.
Port Michael will need to be at their best to reel in the Eagles from here.
Yes, I wrote him off last week. I say nothing about Port Adelaide getting beaten at Alberton, but probably one of the signs there was Corey Archie just duffed the kick in from full-back. It's a bad sign when your quality full-back starts to do that.
Well, I picked it earlier, just a sign of a lack of confidence. He's gone short on 2 occasions, 13-12. So we've had 25 scoring shots to 15 and a 40-point margin in favour of the Eagles. I think that reflects, certainly, since about quarter time, the Eagles' dominance. Pearce paddles it forward. Burgoyne tried to run onto it, but Manfield got there first. Colville, another possession, a high one into the forward line. Chris Kluzak jostles with Archie, held front position, couldn't take the mark. Look at Fegan, he'll fight right to the death if you want him to. McGregor squeezes one out. Now it's Burgoyne. Well, their defence, Port Adelaide through Carter, Burgoyne and Fegan is really fighting pretty hard, but they're finding it very difficult. Their midfield's getting beaten. Brown around the corner.
Good stuff by Holland.
Well, Holland was good and Clayton was
what? Oh, David Mackay. They've made a couple of big blues in this quarter. The umpires just lost it for a while, and that's costly.
Yeah, that's not a free, is it? The umpire will have a look at the tape of that and regret that one. And I guess umpires make mistakes like players and commentators. Holland. As the siren sounds, it's three-quarter time with the Eagles leading by 40 points, Michael. You've got to suggest that Port Adelaide are going to have to restructure quickly at three-quarter time to get back and overhaul the Eagles.
There's probably one of the signs a coach would look for is just on that last transition, running out of their half-back line. They had control of the ball. Ball came to David Brown. You look across the field, and it was the Eagles players leading their men to a man in the transition back into the defensive end or the attacking end for Port Adelaide. A very bad sign. They do need to find a little bit better entry into their full forward line. They've got a target in Smith. They've put Chalmers in ruck. He needs to get his hands on the ball first. Again, I hesitate to write them off this week, but around the ball, the Eagles are looking fantastic, and it's going to be a very good effort to get in front of this team.
The three-quarter time score indicates the Magpies. They're 7-8-50. They're 40 points behind the Eagles on 13-12-90. You're sitting home watching this game live and exclusive to ABC Sport.
Hope you're enjoying this at Alberton Oval. I think if you're an Eagle fan, you'd be certainly enjoying it, because they went on a goal-kicking spree that term and lead by 40 points at three-quarter time after leading by just 11 points at half-time. As we go to the three-quarter time scoreboard here at Alberton, it shows the Eagles 13 goals, 12.90. Port Adelaide marked 7 goals, 8.50. 6 goals that quarter to the Eagles, while Port Adelaide only managed 2 goals, 1.
Yeah, we just see there at half-time, David, it was only about 13 points, I believe. It's just
11 points at
half-time. They really have extended out to 40. But the goal kickers there, we'll start with the Eagles this time. They're on top. Matthew Kluzak and his brother Chris both have 4 apiece. Dylan has 2. And for the Maggies, well, Smith up there, really a lone hand. He's had a great tussle with Big Hall back there. He's kicked 3 this afternoon. Steed, McGuinness, Binky and Brosnan also 1 apiece.
Now, what about statistically? We looked at the inside 50, which is right down the bottom there. At three-quarter time, it was 25 to 26. It was pretty even. But in the third term, the Eagles just exploded. They took the ball inside 24 times, while Port Adelaide only took it inside their 50 just the 8 times.
Yeah, and also with the hit-outs, David, 25 to 20. I think Spanagle was up there and Chalmers were both up and on fire in that first half. We just see all of a sudden Neiman's come out just a little bit more aggressive at the football in those centre square contests. He's gone 25 to 20, but really it's kicks and handball. Look at that, they've got something like, what, 22 more kicks and also handballs around about, 25 more. That's where they're controlling the football.
Fair enough. Now, what's this? Spanagle? What is it, Mark?
Well, they tell me, David, it is Spanagle. We had, I think it was his girlfriend that came up here just at quarter time. She came up and she just stood behind us and said, fellas, his name's not Spanagle, it's Spanagle. That's the way it is pronounced. But there's no R in it. How can you get Spanagle?